Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Office Hours. It's just me this week, unfortunately. Flo had to step out. And yes, here we are. Welcome back. Hey, Saul. If it's your first time here, basically the hour is for questions. So if you have any questions related to WeWeb, you're more than welcome to stick them in the chat. Or you can join me here. I'll put a link in the chat for you to join, and we can go through in person. Hey, Saul. How's it going?
How's it going, man? Doing all right?
Yeah, all good, all good. How are you?
Good, man. I've been using WeWeb on and off for like a year, and I've been working on this project on WeWeb, and I've kind of like got a lot of time to get it going and whatever. And I basically built like the whole UI out and everything, and now I'm just trying to like add back end functionality and connecting it to like an actual database and making it
Yeah.
dynamic. Long story short, man, I have this problem that I'm coming across, and all the AIs and stuff, they can't really like help out because I guess it's
Yeah.
technology or whatever. But essentially, I can share my screen real quick.
Yeah,
I'll
sure,
just
sure.
show the flow that I'm going off of. Let's see, share screen. That one. All right. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially how it works, or what I'm getting caught up on is um, I have this sign in, which is linking back to the auth users on Supabase,
Mm-hmm.
but I need it to when someone logs in to the actual application, it knows whether they're either one user or a different type of user. So on this platform, it's a client or influencer. So I need for it to know, okay, this is a client, send them to this page with
Yeah.
all the state and stuff, or if they're an influencer. So I just kind of need like a little bit of direction, and I
Yeah.
think this is a good place.
Yeah, sure thing. So unfortunately, Supabase doesn't make this whole thing with handling roles easy.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, if you click on, do you have any tables set up, like a roles table or a user roles table where you would assign a role to a user or anything like that?
So what I have right now is I have obviously Supabase gives you the auth user table off the bat
Yeah.
with Supabase, but I also have a users table. It's not full of anything right now because I'm building it, but it's the users table. So I
Hmm.
have something that has like user type, and I'm not even really, as you know, bro, this is a lot, right? Like it
Yeah.
can get really technical. I don't even know really how to make it either or user type, right? I don't know if it's not really like a Boolean or anything. It may be like I have to use like a different type of thing on there, but hold
Yeah.
on.
It's so basically what needs to be done is you'll need a roles table, and in that roles table you have records for each type of role. So I think you mentioned there was a client and one other type of role.
Influencer.
Influencer. So in the roles table, you would have one record for client and another for influencer. And then you would have a user roles table. And in the user roles table, you'd probably have one column for user ID and another for role ID. And so that's where you would link them up basically. So you would link,
Like
yourself to a bit.
every, let's say every client's a one and every is a zero, kind of like that.
Exactly, yeah. Where this gets a bit tricky with Supabase is that have you experimented with edge functions at all?
Not really. This is what my super base looks like. These are all my tables I have so far.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly set them up now? Since
Yeah.
we're yeah. If you create a new table at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and if you call it roles,
Can't type this morning.
all good. And then if you add, give me 1 second, I'll bring this up on my other screen where I've got an example of this just to check how to properly set this up. Yeah, so you'll want if you add another column,
Mm-hmm.
and you just call it name
Name.
and give it the type of text. And that should be good. So if you save that.
Permission died for. Oh, am I in the wrong schema or something? Permission denied. For schema off. That's strange. Is unique. That's strange. I haven't seen that.
Have you did you try and set up any roles tables with RAI? Because I know it's pretty good for working with Supabase to set up some tables and security policies and stuff like that.
What I was trying to do is I had this like on the users table, I had a user type, and then that was what I was going to use, and I was going to have it read whether it was like type 1 or type 2 or like so one can know where it's either A or B, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't know how to build that, so that's kind of where I got stuck.
What might be easiest is, so I created a video on this 2 weeks back, and because this will be like a 20-minute process,
right?
It might be better if I send you this, and then you can go through this, and then I think you'll be able to go through it in the hour. And if you have any questions as you're going through it, feel free to jump back in.
Absolutely. Where are you going to leave the link?
I'll put it in the chat on the stream. Give me 1 second.
Okay, cool. Also, man, you're like a WeWeb wizard, man. You just know like off the top of your head.
I've been using this day in and day out for almost like 3 years now. So you get to be able to go through the editor while closing your eyes,
Yeah, and honestly, I've been using WeWeb for realistically about a year, and like the more you use it, the more comfortable you really get with it, And but it definitely helps to have a like a really deep background in like software development because it'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I love WeWeb, because in truth, once you get to grips with it, it's very easy to transition to actual pure code, because yes, you're not writing the code, but you're 100% right. You still need to understand all of the principles and everything that goes with it,
right?
Which has its pros and cons.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of going through right now. Like the building the UI, like the UI for building stuff on WeWeb is like super intuitive, so it's not like too crazy hard, but like right now in the process of my application, I'm doing a lot of like data binding and making sure everything looks right, and it's attaching the right stuff from the database to the front end. Like it's not like the world's most impossible thing, but it still takes like a lot of effort. I'd say like that.
Stay tuned, because every week we see more and more that people don't actually have issues with WeWeb. They're having issues with hooking up logic in Supabase or whatever it is. So we're working on something pretty big that hopefully we should come out with in the next, I'd say, 1.5 months, 2 months, that should help massively. But in the meantime, I'd say just try your best to bear with it,
Right. And so you're saying you're seeing this across like a lot of different people.
Yeah, because Supabase is extremely technical. Like I'd say it's even more technical than WeWeb, with how you have to get familiar with SQL, and if you want to use edge functions, understanding JavaScript and different things that go with it. So it's certainly not an easy platform to get to grips with.
Okay.
I put I put 3 videos in the chat. Probably step 1 and 3 will be most relatable to what you want to do, because step 1 is a bit related to how you set up Supabase, but then step 3 goes through how to set up the user roles. But just so it's all congruent, it might be best to watch all three of them one after the other, just because there's some parts where it will only make sense if you've seen previous parts, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So feel free to like watch it on fast mode, whatever. But hopefully that should help. And like I said, if there's any questions, feel free to jump back in.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Take care.
No worries. You too, man.
Mhm.
Hey, Emmerich, you there?
Yeah.
No worries.
Sorry about that.
How's it going?
All good. All good. So, last week I missed it, and I thought, this way around, let me kind of get back to it. Funny enough, I went through the same situation with roles in Supabase, what you explained right now. So it was good to kind of see it. I was on the right
Yeah.
path.
Did you manage to get it
Um,
working, or is that still okay?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, this. Let's just follow up on that. So this is basically what I did. So yeah, I did roles, which technically was a short table, especially even in this situation, you have like two rows, I guess. Um, but then that concept of a profile, that was something that I struggled, because if you think about it, it's like, well, if a user is able to log in and configure a profile, which is another table with whatever personal information. So not the user, because you can't really create additional columns in the user table. Then what I did, I actually created a user profile table or something related, where and I had to link that to the user table now. So it's just like you have roles and you also have additional user information. So I'm not exactly sure if that was the right path. So I kind of use that user profile as a bit of a, yeah, like, I don't
Yeah.
know if you have like a description or something or whatever that may
No,
be.
yeah, you did that correctly. It's one of those sticking points with Supabase when people first get started that it seems so convoluted to do it that way, but that is the correct way to do it. One of the sticking points that people have with roles and where they go wrong is that, I don't know if you've messed around in the auth table, you can add metadata to a user. So you can kind of add some custom information, and people will sometimes save the role in that metadata. But the problem with that is that usually they do it in WeWeb, so they trigger the sign up action, and that sign up action then creates the metadata. So if they've input whatever on the sign up page, that's what gets saved. But because that comes from WeWeb, so that API call comes from the front end, people can basically change what role they can give themselves. So there's a bunch of things where people get stuck. But yeah, that's why you need to have the separate user roles table and then have some backend way to do it. But it sounds like you did it correctly, so kudos.
Sure. Okay, so I have, what do I have? So I'm back with um, a question, and then two kind of sticky points in terms of asking. So one, I know that we chatted about last time, but I haven't been able um, to do it. And then I realized I'm spending too much time, might as well just progress with other things and
Yeah.
kind of come back. Which is in relation to filters and pagination. So I have as you mentioned earlier, edge function for anyone kind of using Supabase. I'm not a very technical person, started using cursor. Edge functions is a lifesaver. It just brings information. It makes things faster. So I would encourage everyone to have a look at that. And then after you've done like 10 of them, you still use cursor, but you kind of understand them from that point of view. So what basically my current issue is, so I'm loading this I'm triggering this edge function at page load. So I'm getting that. I've added some limitations to kind of go through this exercise basically, but I'm getting 1,000 records, and then I'm storing this into an um, object variable. And then the other thing that I did, I created a total notice query number, And I also created another variable to store, I guess,
Mhm.
offset. Because in here, actually, it's probably easier to show it here. So I guess would be the results here. So yeah, so in the results, I'm getting the object, which is, you know, the rows. I'm getting total limit, offset, page number,
Yeah.
and so on. But somehow I'm still not getting the how we would add the pagination element.
Okay.
So if I add a component here, so we add it here at top. So custom pagination, I guess it would be total items. I would get total notices queried, which would be the 1000 items per page. I have that set to
First
20.
thing I've seen,
So
Emmerich, so
would
for the total items, it's a string, and you'll want that to be a number. I think I've lost you. I'm not sure if it's my side. If you can still hear me, Emmerich, it's dropped for me. I think you're back.
Yeah. So total. So this one here, you mean that should be a number, yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah, I lost you for a second, but
Okay, cool,
we're
cool,
back.
cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. So if you go back to the pagination element, what you can do is where you're passing in the total items. I think there was a different thing bound here before, no?
Yeah, no,
Wait,
I've just
you're
changed it
passing in
right now. I
1,000?
realized why you will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if I do that, yeah, it's probably because I changed the variable. Potentially my yeah, 1000. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I have 1,000 there. Yeah. And then
Yep.
items per page. I guess I could just set that manually to 20. Is that correct?
You can set it manually. Sometimes you want to do it dynamically so the user can change how many are shown by page, but there's no problem with doing it manually.
For now, yeah. And then I have the offset. I guess the offset I would have the same issue, isn't it? Because I've set it as a notice offset. Oh, this is a number already. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can put in the offset.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what you'll need now to do is, so have you tested the edge function to see if what parameters does the edge function have again? The one that handles the pagination?
Well, I mean, I can test it based on text query. So I can if I do like or like if I do software system or something, I think I can.
Because I'm just wondering if it'd be good to see you test it. So let's say on the basically just to see go to a different page to see what it returns.
Yeah, so I guess that would be kind of the issue. So I mean, it's showing here that okay, I'm showing 20 out of 102, but yeah, at this point, I can't really kind of click forward. So I guess that's basically my question. Am I missing something here that I need to add in terms of these?
Yeah, so if you go to, I guess to refetch the data, you have some kind of global workflow set up that calls that edge function or something like that?
Yeah, so that's the part that I think that I'm missing. So for the recall, would I bind it into these text fields or?
No, so could you go to that workflow where you call the edge function?
So yeah, so I guess this would be the standard, but then I also have one that it's the same function, but
Okay.
I have it here.
Cool. So what's pretty best to do is if you I think you can copy this to a global one. If you come out of this, so you close the workflow editor, if you click the three dots and copy it, and if you then go to the logic tab on the far left and you paste it in, because we're calling this from so many different places, it's good to make this a global workflow that we can call instead of copying it everywhere in case we need to change the logic. And so for the edge function, if you click onto it just to see, and what parameters are you passing in the body?
Yeah, so I'm doing limit 20 offset. I guess I would want. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure what I'm putting here in the offset, so I left it. Then my search input, and I also have some variables like the last time we went to kind of those pick lists and so on and so forth.
Makes sense.
But yeah, that
if you just to test this properly, so if you get rid of your search, if you go back into preview mode and you clear that search input, I just want to test that edge function to see if it does what I expect it to, and then you go back into that workflow.
yeah, so it just brings me my 1000. I added a limit for the 1000, so that's basically kind of what what's that what's doing. Yeah.
And so if you open up the edge function again and you open up the body, if in the offset you manually type in 21, but outside, I think you'll have to do it outside of speech marks. And if you just test this, I just want to make sure that it in theory, it should return the data, but it should say page number 2. Okay, it does. Cool. Okay, that
Page
works
number
as
2,
expected.
yeah.
So what you'll need to do is on this workflow, if you click on parameters at the top right.
On the workflow.
Sorry, at the top right. The parameters.
Parameters. Okay, yeah.
We can now configure just basically different parameters that we can pass into the workflow when we call it, and then we can use those parameters in the actions. So what we'll want to pass in, I think, is only the offset. So if you add a parameter and then add an offset and give it a type of number. And now in that edge function call, in the body where you passed in the offset, now we just want to replace your manual one with the parameter. So, and if you open up the lightning bolt tab, that's where you'll have access to that offset parameter, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so if you now close this and go back in just to the main page. Now let's see, because it's been a while since I've worked with this pagination element. So if you click on the pagination element for me in edit mode, we'll need to basically set up a workflow on it so that when a user presses page change, we need to call that workflow. So if you add a workflow,
the global workflow, okay.
Exactly, yeah. And there should be there should be another trigger at the top on change. And I can't remember exactly what this returns, but let's see. So if you call that, I know we've changed it now. So that if you scroll down, there should just be a section where you have all of your global workflows here, and then data loading, I see it at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And now for the offset, if you bind this, and if you open up the event there, I'm just curious what gets passed here. Cool, okay. And then if you pass in the offset, now let's test this. I'm not 100% certain this will work, but let's see. Oh, well, no, you'll need to do it in preview mode. So if you, yes, if you.
Okay.
Is that doing anything?
Okay. Oh, okay. Did it? Okay, so page 2. I think it just calls the same thing.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I don't want to just give. I have an idea of how we can do this. I just don't want to tell you to do a bad practice. Let me just check the docs quickly. Okay, so what we can do is if you go back to that workflow.
The global one, eh?
Sorry, no, the one on the paginator. Because I think this usually what you would give it a different page number as opposed to an offset. And usually the offset would be handled manually, I think. So could you put in, I'm just curious to try something before we go through with what I'm going to suggest. Could you put a log action before you call this workflow?
So in here, yeah?
Yeah, if you find the log. Yep. And then you can give it any message you like.
Message, yeah. So.
And then if you bind the data to display and go to the lightning bolt and just pass in the entire event, I just want to see what we get whenever we preview this. So if you put it into preview and then try and change the page, I just want to see what exactly gets passed, because I suspect page 2 will get passed, but I want to make sure. And so then if we check, if we find it on the left and see what it was.
Oh, so it is page 2.
And then if you click the next one. So
yeah,
the arrow, yeah.
It's still page 2, yeah.
Okay, and if you go back to the if you go back into edit mode, sorry, and you click on the paginator, the element, and you go to the pencil icon, just to check what's being passed in now. If you click on the total items, that's 1,000. That's always going to be 1,000. If you click the offset,
yeah, the offset.
That's why. So that should change basically. So I guess in if you go to the workflow, the global one for the get data, we'll want to update this here. So if we add a change variable value action after the edge function somewhere.
Change variable. Okay, let me just add it here.
And if we want to change that offset variable, and we'll basically want to change it to whatever offset is passed by the edge function. So in the lightning bolt tab, if we expand the edge function and bind to the offset, and I now think this should work. So if you put it into preview and then you refresh the page using the little refresh button at the top just to reset all the data.
Okay, so
now if you go to page 2, fingers crossed, anything happen?
Oh, okay.
There we go,
Okay, I think we're there. Because yeah, the update and the page 3,
right.
yeah.
Yep. So
page 4.
There's that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that seems to be working.
So you might want to just add some kind of loading state for whenever a page is pressed.
Yeah.
But that should do the job then.
Sure. I'll update, because then I'll need to update kind of the showing as well. While we're on the pagination stuff, is there a way to increase the numbers that we have? So rather than just, for example, if I go on page 1, I have page 1, 2, and then 50 and plus. I would want to have like 1 to 5 or something like that visible.
Not natively, but one thing you could do. Have you tried forking components at all?
Yeah, I've done that. No, I was just gonna say, if it's like, something extremely fast. If it's not, then I've done a few custom components with AI as well. So that should be okay.
But I mean, if because this is a pretty simple component, AI should be able to work with it pretty well. So if it's I reckon it'd be like a 5 to 10 minute job. So something to consider. It wouldn't take too long.
Okay. So anyway, that's that one. So happy with the pagination. Then that kind of solved it. So yeah, coming back to these checkboxes, I know we talked about them last time. The drop down with the search, all of that. Happy with that. That goes in. in terms of this, I still want to kind of validate that I'm on the right path in terms of I guess storing this. So as you would have seen in my workflow, or I guess the global, and now I guess I've learned something as well in terms of the global workflow. So what you're saying, we can create it as a global workflow, and then we're just linking it into all these buttons if we need to, and so on.
Yeah. But just on that as well, because I mean, in this example, I guess this is actually a pretty good example where you wanted to add now a change variable value action to change the offset. And because it wasn't a global variable, you would have had to go into every single place where you have change it everywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah. So again, what I mentioned here in the body, I have a few variables. I think most of them, or I think all of them, are arrays. So the org selected filter we've worked on last time, and I've tested, and all of that works. Then I have this master organization type, and I have it, so notice buyer type filter selected. So notice buyer type filter selected. Yeah, so I have it as an array. So what I'm trying to figure out right now, so for example, is this one here. I'm not sure if I created somewhere, but yeah, basically, am I supposed to create a workflow on, oh yeah, so I have this here, yeah, on selected item. So I would have it on click. I mean, I tried to kind of copy what we were talking about last time. So I guess if it's clicked, probably kind of the other way around, but yeah, I wouldn't really kind of do it here with the index, wouldn't I? Because that wouldn't really be correct, isn't it? I would have to store it, I guess.
It depends. So this was this a multi-select or a single select?
It's a multi-select, yeah.
I think it would be the same thing then. So if you go back into the workflow that you had on click,
which the workflow, I guess I also want to validate that the workflow would be on the checkbox or on the.
It could be either. It's up to you.
It could be either. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then in the workflow, if you check the true or false split, let's just go through it one by one. So if you click on the true or false split at the top, and then check the condition, is this the right variable where you're saving it?
No. So no. So the variable, would be. So this would be the variable. So I'm selecting the entire array. Yeah.
Yes, but it's probably best to keep that old formula. So if you copy this variable, or you can just delete this and then put it back in.
Something like that, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so if you go on the true branch.
Yeah, so I have my true.
Yes, and then
add item.
No, I think it would be remove. It would be the same as before, because at the start we're checking if it exists in the array. And so if it does exist, we want to remove it. And so if you check the index, so this is that, find index. I think that should work, And then this one, insert end, that I don't think is. If you click on the lightning bolt tab, and then open the event on click, why is that? How are we getting it before? Sorry, could you go back on the true or false split at the top? So you have, of course, sorry, my bad. Yeah. If you go back to the save item action on the right for the false branch, and then sorry, go into the first tab and then scroll down. So
and I need to find that particular. Do I need to find that particular?
Yes, but it should. If you scroll down, it should be here. I don't know why it's not here. That's odd.
Okay, well, it is so would I have it? So it's called education. Yeah. So I would have it here.
This isn't. So what you could do, perhaps, I realize why, Emmerich. So in the previous one we set up, if you close this, and I think, which was the one we set up before? Was it the value select, or was it a different one?
No. So it was this particular one, which is like which it was like a list based on.
Okay, that's so the way you've got this other one set up is you can do it this way. The only con of doing it, and when I say this way, I mean, so the one we did before, it was dynamically repeated items. And the nice thing about that is we could set up the workflow once and then just pass in something like the ID. The con
Correct,
of
yeah.
doing it this way now is you'll have to set up the workflow on every single element and then manually set what you want to put in. It's not the end of the world, just something to note.
Yeah.
But cool, we can do it manually. So actually, sorry, the way you had it before, where you were just passing in something, I don't know if you'd want it to be a variable. You probably just want to pass in some kind of text that.
Oh, so just put the value directly, yeah.
I think so, yeah. So if you unbind it
here,
and you can just type in whatever you want, pretty much. You'll have to put it in speech marks though. And then if you go to the remove item on the left, we'll need to update that as well, just so it, instead of looking for the ID, it looks for education.
Speech marks or?
Yeah. And then I think last thing, we'll need to check the true or false split to do the same thing. So check if contains education.
Okay, so basically what we're saying is if I check this right now, oh, okay, perfect.
And if you try and click it again, I guess it unchecks it. Okay, but this isn't we need to check something else to make sure this is working. So if you open up the debug panel on the left, because basically this checkbox component, whenever you click on it, it's always going to mark it as checked or unchecked. So the actual way to tell if this is working will be to check the variable that we're saving it to. So if you open the variables tab and then find that variable that's saving the filter. And then this, yeah. So in theory, when you click it, it should be added. And then when you click it, okay, cool. So that's working correctly.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, and last one, I promise, and then
no, all good. I think it's just you. So
okay, perfect.
You've got the floor.
Yeah. So I have this little issue here with the spacing of this. I think some. I don't know, is it on organization or supplier? Basically, for some reason, yeah, I think it's organization. For some reason, it's I can't. Yeah, okay, yeah. You can see it's cutting this off here.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow, I mean, this is kind of my setup here. I basically made it a grid and said kind of columns and tried. Basically, what I'm saying is, I'd rather these things be a bit smaller because I wanted to add more. So I wanted to kind of do something like that. So like more columns, but it just pushes everything to the right.
Yeah.
And rather than kind of make them smaller, because on my other tabs where I'm using the same approach, it works. But on this one, for some reason, it doesn't work, and I'm not exactly sure why.
Yes. So if you open up the layout tree on the left,
yeah,
and you open up this flex box, if you click onto that for me, okay, so that's like that, and these got a width. Take off the width, so you see you've got width 100%. Let's put that to automatic.
Yeah.
Okay, so that hasn't worked. If you click back on the flex box, sorry, above it, so you've got width 1FR. Let's try changing direction to column.
Direction to column, yeah.
And then, no, that still won't work. Sorry. And then, yeah, that should have, yeah, ignore me. Sorry, you can undo that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I've been kind of living with it. So for example, two fit, and that's the whole point, isn't it? Is like it should resize based on the space. So one works okay.
Yeah. Could you put it back
okay
to 3 or 4? okay, what might be happening is that one of the elements inside the card might have some kind of fixed width, which means all of the dynamic sizing overrides. So yeah, and just check the profile. All of these don't have some kind of
Yeah, I mean, I went through these like side by side with some of the
And could you just check lastly the view profile button at the bottom just to make sure? No, yeah.
yeah, with this one as well, I have it to auto midsection. Oh, this one I don't have it. Yeah, I
think that
mean,
would
this
affect
is
it.
auto as well. It wouldn't really affect it.
Okay, yeah, that's a very. Did you get AI to create this?
No, I created it myself. Yeah, so that's why I'm a bit. I'm like yeah. I mean, on like I said, on some of the other tabs, it worked. On this one, for some reason, it doesn't really like it.
I'm not sure why. I mean, we can spend 5 minutes quickly changing this, and the change would basically be to use a standard div instead of a grid. Because there's a definitive
Okay.
fix I know we can do. Yeah, so if you put it
Mhm.
to flex, and then you put it to horizontal, so the direction,
Mhm.
and if you add the row gap and column gap you had before, I can't remember what it was, if you remember.
I think it was 24. I
And
think
so
so.
what you can do is, let's say you want 3 columns. If you click onto one of the cards, if you go to the width and you change it to percentage, because you want 3 columns, you basically want to divide this however many columns by 100. So if you make it 33, try 30. I'm not sure why it's done that, just to make sure that it's okay. Cool. I think it's because of the column gap. So you'll need to find the sweet spot between the percentage and the column gap.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is another thing that I wanted to ask. So it may be, what's the best way um to do like how do you like break line when you
Yeah.
have things like that? So I
If you
think here I'm just linking two different
if you
badges.
if you follow up the tree, so I'm trying to see where this actually overflows. So right now this is going outside of the container, these badges.
Mhm.
But on the left-hand side, if you go up the layout tree, I just want to see where this actually. So it's still gone outside for that one, I think. So if you click onto that div, or if you already got it selected, I think you've already got it selected. If you put on the right-hand side, if you put max width 100%, I think.
So max width.
Okay, but why is that? Okay, so they're not respecting their okay. So it would require some experimentation. So basically, if you click back onto that div that we gave the max width to,
This one here, yeah.
if you reduce the max width, so keep reducing it. I just want to see it get down to a point where this far right-hand card, okay, that's probably like 65 or 70%, let's say.
Oh, 60.
That's good, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And so now if you click onto the badges, or that div that has the badges,
Yeah.
if you now put the max width of this to 100%.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so that's
And,
good. We kind of solved thing, but it's
and
hiding stuff.
if you turn wrap elements on, there we go.
Perfect. And now I presume that I can, where would I add? Would I add a row gap here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though I think it could even kind of do something here like two. Okay. Yeah, okay. With this, I still kind of have to do a bit of experimentation on the size. But yeah, like I said, it's a bit of it was a bit of a strange one with that
Yeah,
one.
I'm not too sure why the grid wasn't working, but if you need to, you can always resort to just using the standard divs.
Yeah. I Oh yeah, another thing that I had, and again, this is more, I guess, of a question. I'm kind of keeping my ear with, what Supabase is kind of pushing out, because they seem to be on a roll with some stuff they're pushing. And I think last week they had something like Dino 2.1 or 2.2, where they said like the edge functions are, I don't know, 95% faster or something like that. And I was thinking
Mhm.
like, not sure if you guys or you person kind of are aware of this, but were they talking about the edge functions that we're using? Because I think in there they mentioned something about storage and S3. So I was trying to figure out, is that in relation to data querying, or is that in relation to that particular action of getting, I guess, files and stuff like that from S3?
Yeah, so I know we've discussed internally. There's some Supabase updates we're bringing. It's every time you've joined me, you haven't met Flo. So usually Flo, our CPO, Chief Product Officer, joins every week, and he would be best able to answer this because he knows every single thing that's on the roadmap and the devs are working on. And he knows Supabase
Mhm.
like the back of his hand. So unfortunately, I can't give you a good answer on that.
Sure, sure. Well, I kept trying to kind of catch him because I missed him last week, and I was like, oh, this week I'm
No,
gonna,
he knew you were coming.
and then yeah, yeah, for sure. And then I kind of go in, and you're like, oh, guys, it's just me this week.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
next week.
yeah,
Fingers crossed.
next week, yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for the help, and yeah, I can see someone's in. So yeah, thanks again.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Okay, cheers,
Bye.
cheers.
Hi, Steve. Can you hear me?
Hi, Matthew. Yeah, you?
Yes. All good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for popping up to help. I have an issue with some images. I'm not sure if this is something that you can help me with, but
Okay.
let me go to here. So you see that I have here like all these images like with the states of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I see them in the editor, but once I go to production, they look broken.
Are
No
these
idea.
images or are they icons?
No, I tried both image and icons, and both of them are broken. In this case, are image.
Let's try something. So I apologize for this. I might have had something like this at the weekend myself on a personal project, and in my case it was icons, but I suspect my fix might also be the same for images. So we can quickly try something, which is a hacky fix, but it won't block you. So if you
Okay.
go back into the editor,
Yep.
and I guess are the images uploaded to your project or are you pulling them from some kind of
Yeah.
backend?
No, no, it's in the project.
Cool. If you just put an image onto the page, it could be anywhere.
Okay. Let me. Yeah. Okay.
And if you, I think the top one in the results was Alabama. If you just put in, basically we want to put in one of the images that isn't working correctly.
Okay. So let me put Alabama. This one.
Yes, and if you publish this,
Let's see. Yes.
so basically I had something like this for icons, and I was trying to use icons dynamically. And I realized I could fix the issue in the interim if I used the icons just somewhere else in the app outside of that dynamic repeating. And I don't know exactly what we'll have to get the devs on it. But it worked afterwards once I'd used it statically somewhere. So fingers crossed, this is a similar thing. So if you...
Let me go again to the deployed version to see if I see it. Okay, here is the image.
There you go. So
I
Alabama's
see
there.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah. So I'm really sorry for this.
Okay.
You'll have to basically put the images somewhere in your app that isn't inside this dynamic repeating, and you can remove them. So for instance, in your editor now, if you were to delete this picture of Alabama and then
Yeah.
republish, it will still work in the dynamic repeated list. I'm really sorry for this, but this is just the fix in the interim.
Okay, I think for now I'm going to call the image from the backend then.
Yeah. Again, I really apologize for this. The devs are on
No
it.
worries. No worries, no worries. Okay, but it's a bug that your guys are aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Matthew.
Super. Thank you. Take care.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Shamir. Probably not. So I think it's something we've discussed before, but it's not a priority right now. Usually for tracking analytics, we just refer people to use some kind of plugin like Segment and then pipe that into one of their own product analytics tools like Mixpanel or Amplitude. I think it'd be very cool to add in the future. And it's something we've discussed internally, but I don't think it's a priority right now, unfortunately. Cool. So we're just coming up to the hour. I don't think there's any more questions. So I think we shall leave it here. Thanks everyone so much for joining me. As always, we have office hours every Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Central European time. Flo couldn't join me this week, but usually he's here with me every week. So fingers crossed he can join me again next week. So yes, see everyone next week. Cheers.